A Podcast Reborn does contain mature language and will contain spoilers for major significant parts of the MSQ, especially patch 6.3. You have been warned. Enjoy the show. From the many realms of Atheris to the distant reaches of the 13th via the magic of podcasting, this is episode 31 of A Podcast Reborn, a show celebrating our journey in the past, present, and possible future of Final Fantasy XIV. This episode is being recorded on Sunday, February 19th of 2023. My name is Brian Black, otherwise known as Ro, and with me, as usual, are my two wonderful co-hosts. First off is an old man who was punished for keeping his Christmas tree up in February by having to shovel snow in his driveway multiple times this week. Hi, Brandon.
How's it going, everybody? And fun fact, I actually had to shovel some out of the street earlier today. Don't ask. But in other news, did you guys hear about the new book that has all the Hrothgar citizens in Charland up in arms? Apparently it's so controversial, they're adding it to the forbidden section of the library. It's, weirdly enough, called The Cat in the Hat.
The forbidden text!
Good one. It's kind of a deep, kind of a intellectual one, kind of a deep cut, but I approve of it.
Yeah, it's not even a pun. Yeah. Good job.
I got all the easy ones out of the way already. All I've got left are deep cuts.
Do you mean that you've graduated now to Dad Joke Savage?
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh man, get ready. Also with us is our resident Chaos Gremlin, who is known for making terrified summoner noises. She's also meant for Her Royal Highness Butterscotch the Cat. Hi, Megan.
Hello. Yeah, ratings been actually going very well. I'm just a derp. Oh,
that would be my phone. It's you see, podcasters, turn your phone off before you hit record. It's just like going to the movie. You know, it's a very simple thing. All right. Well, let's start off with that. I was going to ask what everyone's been up to, but speaking of rating, Megan, how far have you guys been going?
We are up to the spooky tree, which we will hopefully down tonight. We're getting pretty close.
That's 7, right?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm shocked by how fast things are going. I'm very pleased. This is a very good group of readers. They've been raided for a long time together.
I have a question for you about your raid team, actually.
Sure, what's up?
Do you guys have a Reaper on your team?
No, we have Ward, who is a Dragoon. And that is our only melee.
That's not going to work, because the only way you're going to down that tree is to do the slice. To do the spooky slice.
It's cool. We have a warrior tank who comes dressed as a lumberjack.
All right, that's probably an acceptable substitute.
I mean, can you have a Dragoon wearing flannel? Will that work? Is there even flannel in Final Fantasy XIV?
There absolutely is. There's flannel and suspenders, man. It's great. I can't remember what it was. One of the glam sets, one of the crafted glam sets at some point. I just remember when it was super expensive. Now it's not anymore.
I feel like your raid team on the night that you think you're going to down, it just needs to glam up in that gear.
That's true.
I mean, you talk about theme glam for your stuff, right? So having a group of 8 lumberjacks, go for it.
Oh my god! See,
the tree looks at you with all 12 or so of its eyes and goes, "Nope."
The tree is not the problem; it's the fruits.
I'm not touching that one. Touching that one.
Is the fruit a savage mechanic? Because I don't recall anything about fruit.
So this boss is clearly very heavily inspired by Berserk, and the fruits are the little round thingies with the faces and stuff on them that look like the thing from Berserk, which I can't remember the name of, the little evil necklace. But oh yeah, that's right. You guys are uncultured. You have no idea what Berserk is.
I know what Berserk is. I know that Dark Knight, that there's a link between Berserk and Dark Knight's Berserk. The story of Berserk has a lot of inspiration of Dark Knight stuff, or vice versa. I also know that when the creator of Berserk passed away, there were a lot of in-game visuals for him.
Yeah, that's about all I know about it, is from the visuals.
Oh my god, you guys should read the manga, because the anime adaptations are kind of a mess. Although the original anime adaptation is good, it's not complete. It's one of those there's no complete version of the story in anime. But unfortunately, since the creator passed away, it will now never be finished. But it's still worth reading. It's incredible. The art is incredible. The story is really good, and it is a very dark story. I mean, obviously, if it's the inspiration for Dark Knight, but shit gets real dark. It's my kind of jam. So just be aware of that going in.
What is the name of the main character of that?
Guts.
Okay, yeah, that's why it sounded familiar. Guts was featured on an episode of Death Battle, and I remember watching that episode going, why? Why is anyone consider this enjoyable to read? Oh my god, this is literally torture porn.
Redemption and love in the face of adversity and overcoming at literally like fucking cosmic horror odds, and literally being also too angry to die.
I guess I didn't cover that part in the episode because it just seemed like a never-ending string of bad things happening to one person and him deciding, I'm going to put on this weird armor that literally kills me and have a slab of metal that is barely called a sword.
Yeah, but like, it's literally a story. It's, one of those like, is revenge worth it? Should you let it consume you, or can you find something else to live for? Or, it's like, it's got themes and shit, okay? It's good. Oh my god, we were talking about rating.
We were.
So yeah, the raid, this does happen on normal mode where it like splits into the 3 platforms.
Oh, okay.
On every platform is a fruit. They kind of look like eggs more, but they are called fruits.
Now I know what you're talking about. Gotcha. Okay.
And they spawn like ads that do different things, and like the level of coordination that it takes to handle it all and like be in the right places, like not clip each other with shit. Oh my god.
I find it a challenge on normal, so I can only imagine what they add to it on Savage.
It's literally like there's this mechanic where we're running back and forth between the front 2 platforms, and it's like either the tanks and healers are stacked up and the DPS is spread, or the DPS are spread and the tanks and healers are stacked up, and if anybody's even slightly off, party wipe immediately. And while we're running back and forth, we're getting hit with these huge raid-wide AoEs, so the healers cannot plant their feet to heal us because we have to run back and forth, and we're just getting shreked. It's tough. That's what we're on. That's what we're stuck on right now. It's just like, also knowing whether you have to stack or spread is utterly like, the order is totally random, and you have to read your little debuffs, and the debuffs have like 1, 2, 3, and 4 on them, and you have to know which one is which. Oh,
you see, I think that's a thing in general. I think that's the one thing about raid mechanics in Final Fantasy XIV that can irritate me the most, because 90% of the time when you're doing a raid, and I'm speaking from a normal perspective, I understand it's very different in Savage. But 90% of the time when you're doing a mechanic in a raid, it's a certain dance. It has a certain schedule. It's like, this is going to happen, then this is going to happen. Most video, if you watch a video walkthrough, it's usually follows a certain set of routine, and then eventually those mechanics repeat. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, you get that boss that is, well, it could do this, or it could do this first. Perfect example is final boss of P8, where he could do the one fire thing, the outside fire thing, or he could do the one set of different mechanics or the other set of different mechanics, and you have to totally switch up what you're expecting to see.
Yeah,
I've got a better example of that for you. Halone and the ice circles.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my god, that woman has killed me so many times because I can't.
Savage really likes to do it is possible that there are these 2 or even 3 patterns that are going to happen, and you have to look at the tell and know which one means which and get in the right spot. That happens a lot. And the other thing that happens a lot is that there's like a lot of everybody's going to get a number 1 through 8, and then you have to do the mechanics in a certain order. And there's a lot of like the hegemony, the P6, the snake lady.
Mm-hmm.
She has in Savage, she has a snake and she has a wing, and so you get debuffs where you have to be on the opposite side of your debuff. So you have to look at your debuff and see if it's a snake or a wing, and so you have to make sure that you're on her either snake side or wing side. And then there's also a timer going off where you are going to get an AoE explosion on you that will kill anybody that you're next to, so you can't be next to other players. And then at the same time, there's another mechanic going off where in order you have to bait AoEs by being the closest people. So it's literally like you have to get in a circle according to your position, like which side you're supposed to be on, snake or wing, and then like how short your debuff timer is. You have to get in, and then you have to like go in and out to bait the thing while the other thing's going off. It's crazy, and it's very personal responsibility. Like you have to look at your debuffs and you have to know, because like nobody could call that out for you. Like,
I only imagine Lisa, aka Zim, listening to what you just said, and it's probably like the scene from A Beautiful Mind where all these different
like for real, man. I posted that meme image in the Discord of like the like what it's like to do Savage raiding, and it's literally like ice cream cones and like explosions and birds, and that's what it's like. It's literally like you can only learn your very narrow slice and then learn to do that slice perfectly. You cannot worry about everything. And that's the thing, like in Final Fantasy raiding, it's very independent, or it's very like you have a lot of personal responsibility. There's no DBM. Like the raid leader can call out like basic mechanics and stuff, but there's so much of like, okay, look at your debuff, look at your timer, figure out which quadrant you're supposed to be in, figure out which thing you're supposed to be baiting, and it's like, oh.
I'm looking at this pic that you posted in our Discord. I feel like I need to put this on the Twitter feed. Why is there like this picture of a VTuber in a couple of the circles?
I'm guessing that she's supposed to represent the birds.
It's like, okay, the sad thing is I recognize who the VTuber is. It's Mume, so go figure. But I'm like, why is there a VTuber in this diagram? What does Mume have to do with raiding in Final Fantasy 14?
So is her theme birds?
And she's like an owl, right?
Yeah. So the birds shoot out a beam in front of them, and so you can't be standing in front of them. They also like cover up the bridge in between the two. So that's what that represents. But then at the same time, the tanks are I think those are the Minotaurs. And you can see all the little like DPS people on the side. It's a very silly image, and my raid team posted that in our raid chat, so I thought that was hilarious. So I'm like, yeah, I should show this to everybody. Like, this is what raiding is like.
The promo to the episode is going to be this image with a link to the show, being like, "What does this image mean?"
That is just insane.
It's pretty crazy.
Well, it's insane when you look at it. Like overall, but when you just have to worry about your mechanics, so it's like I'm a DPS, so I only need to worry about what DPS needs to worry about. It's like you memorize your spot and your mechanics for the most part. That's enough. There are ones where you have to do it with the timers and everything, but that's usually there's only like one of those per fight, which is like oftentimes the big the sticking point where you hit the wall. Because you can't just memorize it and you can't just like call it out. But it's like looking at the fight overall can be very overwhelming. But I find it very helpful to just narrow in on like, what do I do? Okay, and so when someone's like, "Oh, you could raid lead this," I'm like, absolutely not. I can tell you exactly what a ranged DPS is supposed to do. That's it. Like tank cooldowns, no idea. Tank positioning, no idea. Healer cooldowns, absolutely no fucking idea.
Well,
like melee positioning, nope, no idea. I got no room in that for my brain.
It sounds to me that you're having fun, which is a polar opposite of what your experience was a few months ago.
It's true. Our last raiding team was they were fun. They were nice guys. The thing is that they were a little too how do I put this? they had a bit of the WoW culture in them.
Right.
Not terrible, not bad, but it was like it was still clinging to them a little bit, and it was very like constantly posting, if we did good damage or not, and like
logs and all that.
Yeah. But it was really funny because like me and Ward were never the ones that were wiping the group because there's a lot of like personal responsibility. But there was one member of that group that just had a really bad internet connection.
Mm-hmm.
And so we wiped so many more times than was necessary just because of that. Because in Savage Raiding, or there's like there are so many mechanics where it's like, one of you screws us up, we're all dead.
Brandon and I can sympathize with that last bit because I do remember a couple of our raiders in our WoW raid team. We took everybody, right? We weren't going to bench anyone for any reason, but there were a couple people who had like some rough connections sometimes, and it would lead to trouble. So,
yes.
I think it's like I wouldn't mind that at all if it wasn't also coupled with the get good mentality. It's like, dude, please, we either need to be like laid back if not care, or we need to like all be doing our all to clear this and not like have such an obvious problem holding us back. But yeah, I don't know. This raid team that we're on, they're very friendly, they're very skilled, and we've just been clearing things really fast. It's been really nice.
Sounds like there's a solid chance of getting P8S done before 6.4.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm really excited. Like, look at when we started, I was like, oh, it's so much. I don't know if we'll make it. Now I'm like, yeah, maybe we can. I bet we can.
Because 6.4 is where the last wing's going to be, right?
I think.
The final 4 bosses. Yeah. Because I think 6.5 is the final Alliance raid.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. I think you're right. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And it's also just like, I can see how it seems extremely overwhelming from the outside, but when you get down to it, you just need to know just stay in your lane. just learn your lane, stay in your lane, and don't worry about anybody else's anything, like for real. That's how I handle it because it is just too much shit is going on. I don't know how people raid lead. Oh my god, our raid team literally has like a spreadsheet made up in like Google Docs for like when to do healing cooldowns and like damage reduction cooldowns and everything. Like we have all of that scheduled out ahead of time, and I'm like, I don't look at this except to when I'm supposed to use Addle because I cannot be worried about this.
Stay in your lane, current nominee for episode title.
Oh my
god. Brandon, what have you been up to lately?
All right, so I'm trying to recall where I was in the hunt for the Mecha Dragon mounts, and I believe last episode I had gotten my first 2 Gwybers, but I hadn't acquired Hades yet, but I had been fighting him a couple of times.
Oh my god!
So
sorry, Ward got it this weekend. He got it, so I got to see it.
Finished everything.
Yeah, he got the Mecha Dragon. It's amazing. It's a 2-seater too. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Now I'm excited more than ever to get it. But speaking of 2-seater mounts, I do have my 3rd Gwyber. I've got the Hades Gwyber, and after we got it for everyone who in that particular team needed it. Everyone looked at me and said, hey, do you have this mount? And I said, no. What about this one? Nope. Okay, we're going to go do some mount farming in Alexander and Omega. So after that night, I came out of there with the Gobwalker from, I believe it's the first set of 4 bosses.
Very cool.
The little mini Alexander that comes out of Alexander 12 Savage. What am I forgetting? Oh, yeah, Alteroit, the flying winged snake from Omega's encounter with what the hell is his name?
The Dragon Boy.
I can't remember the name of the boss that drops it. Anyway, and I also have the Sky Slipper from the first set of Eden bosses.
Oh, that's bitchin'.
Yeah, I love that thing so much. It's a multiple seater mount, and it just looks really cool, like a high tech bumper car. So they basically said, do you have all these Magitech mounts? Because we know you love Magitech stuff. No. So I came out of there wanting only really one mount, and I ended up getting 4 more.
That's awesome.
Man, now I want to do some mount farming. I didn't realize that some of those mounts were just like straight drops. I just figured that all the mounts in like Savage and Extremes were ones where they were like a 1% drop rate, and you needed 99 of a drop or something to turn them in for such.
No, that's just the EX trials, but I don't believe the drop rate is quite that bad.
That's trial stuff usually, because trials always come with the totems, and it's usually like turn in 10 for a weapon or 99 for a mount. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah. Oh, sorry, Ro.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, time to move on to the weapons next, because Diamond, Emerald, and Ruby weapon each have a dragon I need, and well, apparently those take a fair bit longer than farming Hades over and over does.
Oh boy, you're gonna learn the countdown mechanic on Diamond. Woo! That's a spicy encounter.
The one I'm really not looking forward to is the final of that set, which is the Warrior of Light, because apparently that one still can be hit or miss.
Fun. I actually really like that encounter. I was farming it for a while. I can't remember why. I think I just I think I was farming them out, but I never got it. So maybe I could come with you for that. But
yeah, I'll bring it up with the other folks. I'm sure you know the people are involved.
Let me know when you get Ruby. All I want's the red one. That's all I care about. Big robot 2-seater dragon sounds really cool, and I have seen it, and it does look cool. But all I need is the red one.
It's so funny when Ward rides on it. All you hear is the jet engines. It's just like, wee. And when it's on the ground, it has its little chicken legs, and they go croak, 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 croak. Oh my god, it's great.
I can't wait to have one of my own. I'm going to be a very happy boy the day that happens.
Yeah, all my friends look great on it.
yeah, I can't wait. I'm going to put him in my ridiculous high-tech late Allegan PvP set and just go to town. But I can confirm something in other news. It's been questioned as to whether or not it exists, but as of, oh gosh, I don't remember how long ago it was. I can confirm that the new treasure dungeon, it is actually possible to clear it.
Nice.
Yeah, I've cleared it a few times now. Not only have I cleared it, did you know that the end of the new treasure dungeon has not 2 but 3 different possible bosses?
I do.
That is pretty wild.
Oh my gosh. So was it our group that was singing Thunderstruck to try to get the thunder to strike? Or was that my raid group?
I think that might have been your raid group.
Oh my god.
Well, that was on the night that you were on the night that you came with our group of people. That's when I the Calypso appeared, and I just started to go. I pounded on the desk and went,
Yeah. Oh
was I there for that?
Funny.
I think so.
I think you were, yeah. Oh my god.
I feel like I was.
Yep.
This past couple of weeks has been crazy, so I don't remember anything much.
Yep. And then I got it to happen, and then one of the people in the party was like, "Holy shit! It actually worked."
Oh, that was really funny. Yeah, sometimes Ward is a little late to get to raid time because we raid on Thursdays, and when he's not there, we'll just like do a few maps while we're waiting for him. But then I had to admit that I don't know how to fly. Okay. Get rides for my raid mates.
Oh my gosh.
I am sure that there is a video out there of what happens if you get the silver thing in the new treasure dungeon.
Oh, I'm not gonna. I don't want to spoil myself. I've never seen it. I want to see it.
What I just want to, between the 3 of us, when one of us finally sees it, I want to hear at least that you got it, and then the other two decide if they want to be spoiled or not. But
absolutely,
yeah, I'm definitely curious as to what that is and what that is all like. Any other shenanigans, Brandon?
No, not really much of anything. I've started the grind towards getting the A Realm Reborn tribal quests done because I want that mask. And let me tell you, it is It can be a bit of a slog, but it's especially bad on days when I know I'm going to rank up. Because did you guys know that the ARR tribes, they don't just give you 3 bonus quests afterwards? No, they'll give you 3 bonus quests and the 3 from the previous tier as well. So,
Wow.
yeah, so you can end up with like 5 or 6 quests when you rank up.
Jesus.
And then you get like 6 bonus ones on top of that. I didn't know that. So I was doing 3 for each of the 4 battle ones. I'm leaving the Ixal for last because I hear they're really wonky sometimes. But yeah, then I got my count thrown off because I didn't pay attention to the fact that the friggin' Amalja were giving me more than I should have picked up. So now my numbers are way, way off in terms of trying to keep them all even.
Oof.
I also learned the hard way that especially the sylphs like to give you fates to do for their dailies. And those
Ew.
fates are not up very often.
Ew. That's gross.
Yeah.
See, I think World of Warcraft traumatized me. I refuse to grind reputation.
I mean,
this isn't that bad because you're
some of it.
I know. I hear like rep grind, and I'm like,
This isn't that bad because you can have it like all of them done in like just a little over 2 weeks if you do them every day.
I know. I've done one on a character just because it was like I have a character that's supposed to be from Thavnair, so of course I had to do the what is it?
The Arcasadara?
Yeah, those guys. I had to do that to get all the because I had to set up in her house. I had to have a little shrine to the sisters because I needed the sister dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you redecorated your house in like full Thavnair stuff yet?
No, right now, I have the flower shop, which I'm working on making just like a full shop. And then Ward managed to get a house for his cat boy, who's like her boyfriend. So we have a house that is like half Charlian, half Thavnarian stuff. Of like
that's not a contrast in architecture.
I know. It's great. Well, it's like the upstairs is all Thavnarian because she's the social one, so she's like going to be entertaining people up there, and then downstairs he has like his Charlian study with like his Charlian desk and all of his books and stuff. I had a lot of fun designing that. That's the other thing. I really love doing housing stuff because I like building stuff.
Considering your Sims 4 experience, I'm not surprised whatsoever. So I've got a little bit of stuff to talk about, mainly Casino RP and Gold Saucer stuff. Chocobo racing.
I have been leveling I'm only up to Gen 2 because I haven't been doing it as much this weekend, but I am trying to raise a good line of birds so I can compete.
Well, I got my Generation 8 Chocobo. Now, you may remember the last Chocobo I had, my Generation 7 one, was a wine red Chocobo named Crimson Fortune.
Mm-hmm.
And stats were not too bad. It was probably the best Chocobo that I've had to date. Well, when Crimson Fortune was ready to retire and mate with another Chocobo, I got that Generation 9 male license that you can buy off, and it happened, the male happened to be a Dalamud Red, which is my favorite shade of red, a Dalamud Red Chocobo whose grandparents were mostly 4 stars in almost every stat.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh my, this could be interesting. And so then had them hook up. They qued for about 15 minutes. 15 minutes later, a Choco baby's born and all ready to be adopted and race. And I got a Dalamud Red Chocobo.
Yay!
That has 4 stars in every stat, and except for stamina, which has 3 stars.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
That's the
sad thing is, it's Gen 8. If this had been Gen 9, that could have been like I could have beaten Chocobo racing right then. Like 1 star in stamina, sure, I'd try for that 1 star, but it'd be like, man, that'd be my racing Chocobo for life then. But I'm really happy with it. Now, I remember, I think we had a discussion about Chocobo names, Megan.
And they let the NPCs name things that they don't let us have. And so I have definitely seen Chocobos named Rocket on the field, but they were NPCs, and apparently we're forbidden from using Rocket.
So
I wonder why.
So let's talk a little bit about chocobo names. So Zim and I both got new chocobos about the same time. And I said that, well, if I wasn't able to pick Red Rocket, I'd try to pick the closest thing I could.
Oh boy, this is going to be good.
The name of my Generation 8 chocobo, Crimson Torpedo.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, that's great.
Now it gets better. Zim tried to find a name for hers, and she was going to use torpedo as well. And she's looking at different words and stuff like that. And she decides that she is going to take torpedo and another word that is in there. So Zim named her chocobo Torpedo Uranus. Except that apparently, even though Torpedo and Uranus are both in the game that can be used as words, when she attempted to name her chocobo Torpedo Uranus, the game told her it was a banned combination.
I even have Uranus in the game, man. I don't think there's any way to.
No one is going to use that for any purpose other than to try and be, well, decent.
Further, how did I get away with Crimson Torpedo? I mean, if they end up making me change the name of that chocobo, fine, whatever. But yeah. So naming chocobos can be pretty interesting. Instead of choosing Torpedo Uranus, she called her chocobo Torpedo Glory, which I mean,
wow.
So yeah, Crimson Torpedo and Torpedo Glory are racing against each other pretty frequently, and I'm just one chocobo hookup away from getting Gen 9 and getting that little funny choco hat, choco mask.
Oh man,
is that how you get a hold of that thing?
The choco mask, yeah, you gotta have a Gen 9 chocobo. It's
okay,
the achievement award. Also in Casino RP land, Crimson Casino's doing pretty well. And I was having some personal luck. I keep like my guild and the casino's guild separated by retainers. Mm-hmm. I was having some pretty good luck just with my own gambling guild. And I've been trying to make a point this year to, when it comes to making guild, whether it's by gambling or selling stuff, that I make an average of $250K a day. And that I can't let my retainer go below what would be that number of days times 250K. Well, I had gotten my personal guild up to about 30 million guild, which is well ahead of the pace. That's like almost 500K a day. The Crimson Casino had a really good night on Thursday night, where it made quite a bit of guild and improved its funds a bit. And I paid the price for it on Friday and Saturday, because in the span of about 12 hours from Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time to Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, I gambled and lost 18 million gil.
Jesus.
Oh, my Lord.
Yep. So the thing is, I played at places where the odds of the games are pretty much even odds. It's not like I was gambling irresponsibly as far as like odds and payout go. Riri, who has been on the show here, they got a large and they reopened their casino, and I played over at Riri's, and Riri's games and odds are fantastic. They're fine, and this one new game that they've added is great. It's a simple 3 random rolls, do a little bit of math, and you see who has the higher score. But I played Riri 8 times, and my record was 2-6. And the thing about Riri's Casino is it's high stakes. The minimum bet there is 1 million. Jeez. And so when I lose, I typically do what is known in casino gaming as martindaling, which is if you lose, then you bet higher for the next bet, and if you lose again, you bet higher again. And something you can really only do if you have a lot of gil on you. And usually with an even odds game, if you have a ton of gil and you Martindale, there's a very, very low chance that you're going to lose a lot. Well, that coin flip ended up happening enough times in a row that I lost 15 million gil at Riri's, and I lost 3 million gil at another place the night before. So my personal gil is now down to 13 million gil, which is still at a 250k per day rate for the year. So I'm still fine. If I keep up 250k a day, at the end of the year I'll have 90k in personal gil. And the personal and casino gil never touch each other. They stay on their own retainers and stuff. So that I can say that I've lost almost 20 million gil in the span of 12 hours.
Jeez.
And this is why I don't gamble.
But the thing, I'm not even mad, because it's like it's fake money, and I'm still doing it responsibly. It's like now I don't have any gil to really do any of that crazy gambling, so I'm not going to do any of that for a while. And if I get lucky again as far as things and stuff go, then I'll do it again. But I can quit anytime I want to.
That's what they all say. Oh, Lord. I'm sure, I don't know, Ward's probably spent that much on, like, housing items for all the ridiculous shit. I'm like, I want this, I want that. And he's like, sure.
Couple things to talk about before we're done today. First thing is, as all three of us know, and as probably some of you folks know, Final Fantasy Fan Fest tickets for Las Vegas are a thing. They're coming up, and if you want a chance to get tickets to this thing, you need to go to the Lodestone and click on this one link, and basically, it's not even an application. It's basically you read the page, you click the box, you hit a button, and then you're applied. But
yeah,
I guess this is the first time this year that North America accounts are buying tickets this way. It's been done in Japan like this for a few times now, but it's basically a lottery system. So for all of you who love the housing lottery in Final Fantasy XIV, well, if you want to go to Fan Fest, it's a lottery too.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that my luck for general raffles and lotteries holds out. I got a Guardian house like on the first try back when it was super crazy. I tend to like win usually like raffles, not like anything big important like cash prizes, but I usually will win like a raffle for a free sweatshirt, and it's like, yep. I get shit like that all the time.
This time around, you're winning a chance to pay money instead of getting it.
I know, right? Oh, that's so funny.
Tickets are $200 a pop. I guess they used to be 150 a pop, so they've gone up a bit. But I don't know how many people were able to go to the North American one previously, but one of the things that said on the page was that they were trying to set it up so that it was going to be a much larger amount of people that get to go. I don't know what that means numbers-wise, though.
Yeah, I don't either. I really hope that it's cool and it's big and we all get to go, because the one thing I do miss about playing World of Warcraft is BlizzCon. I had a lot of fun there, and like that was our like once a year trip. Well, we didn't have to travel very far because we live in LA, and it took place in Anaheim. It was like an hour down the road, but we would always get a cheap hotel room nearby. Oh my god, some of the hotels we stayed in to be near the convention center were hilarious. One of them literally didn't have digital keys. They gave us metal keys.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. But yeah, I also, growing up, I went to a ton of anime conventions. I don't really do anime conventions anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, but going to like my anime video game convention would be a lot of fun.
Now, if you get to go, are you going to cosplay?
Probably not. Well, it's like, where's the who can I cosplay as a woman in her 30s?
Well, like, I was just gonna say that you just cosplay, you just have yourself set up as your Makote character.
Well, maybe I'll just wear cat ears or something like that. But
I could go as Hazel. She's got gray hair.
That's the thing. This is it's the JRPG of like teenagers going to beat up God. It's like, yeah, that's what this game is. And so I'm like,
Looks itself playing a character named Old Man Franks. Yeah, teenagers.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is like Final Fantasy costumes are just ridiculously complicated and
They are
elaborate.
They are.
And I'm like, no. And also revealing. Like, I'm never going to go out in a Miko Tay skirt, that's for sure. Jesus Christ. That's fine for my anime cat girl, but it is not for me. No, thank you.
So I'm pretty excited myself. I know that all three of us have submitted our application stuff. Ward submitted his. So if you get selected, you can buy up to 2 tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So if Brandon or I get selected, we'll probably end up getting the ticket for the other person. And I know Mega and Ward, you have each other's back and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. I'm definitely interested. It'll be the first big thing I've gone to since basically BlizzCon 2018. So yeah, 5 years. Holy cow.
Yeah, I don't even remember what my last BlizzCon was. I do remember that it was very cold in there. The last BlizzCon I went to, I always got sick after BlizzCon because, con plague, but I really felt like it wasn't helped by the fact that they just, like, froze us out the entire time. Like, it was always freaking freezing in there, and I would have, like, a sweater on, and then I would, like, get in line to, like, do the what do you call it, where you can trial it, like, the video game stuff, just to get close to the high-end computers. Like, warm me with your rig.
I haven't been to BlizzCon ever, so this is going to be my first big gaming convention that I've ever gone to.
Oh man, it's cool. This will be the first one that's like just for one game, because BlizzCon was still like Overwatch and Diablo and Hearthstone, and like I was only there for the World of Warcraft. I mean, a little bit of Diablo and a little bit of Overwatch eventually, but I was mostly just there for World of Warcraft.
I think it'll definitely, because it's just focused on one game, I think it's definitely going to feel a little bit different than BlizzCon as far as like how much there is to do and such. But I'd say a good part of the ticket costs. I mean, definitely got to go to both concerts each night.
I know.
Like the orchestral stuff going on, and then on Friday and then Saturday is going to be probably the primals, I would imagine.
We could be there live for the memes.
Oh man. Can witness memes being made right in front of our eyes.
Also, just the music is amazing, and I would love to see it in concert.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see all the cosplay, and I hope that they have like an Eorzean cafe set up, because oh my god, that's one of my life dreams, is to get to go to the Eorzean cafe.
Yes. Last thing I wanted to kind of toss around, talk about before we're done, is one thing I want to try to do once in a while is give a shout out to another content creator or community member that whether they're big or small, just did something kind of cool out there. And one person who I follow a lot, are you two familiar with a YouTuber named Mr. Happy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Mr. Happy is pretty well known as far as YouTubers go. Like, if you do a search for Final Fantasy 14 on YouTube, you're probably going to come across Mr. Happy in his videos. He put up a video not too long ago called Things People Don't Know in Final Fantasy 14, where he's basically went to, I think, the either Reddit. He went to a Reddit and just went to this thread where people were talking about things that they may have played the game for hundreds, thousands of hours and just realized not too long ago this one thing about the game. And he was checking to see if there was anything that he didn't know. And there were a couple things that he came across. So before we end for today, I want to kind of toss around here. Is there anything that either of you have stumbled upon after playing the game for hundreds or thousands of hours. You don't have to disclose your playtime. You can if you want. My playtime's I have over 5,000 hours of playtime. Don't ask me how. I don't know how. Because it doesn't feel like I played 5,000 hours in 2 years. I think it counts the hours that I played when I first played 14 several years ago also. So I'm guessing that's probably it. Is there anything that like may have been somewhat common knowledge or not so common knowledge, and when you found out about it, made you go, holy crap, that's in the game? Megan.
My answer is kind of technical, and it has to do with rating. I didn't understand how to weave GCDs and OGCDs properly. I was coming from World of Warcraft, where when you can press a button, you press button. And in Final Fantasy, it's much more rhythmic, and you want to balance between your GCDs, which is your normal spells, and then your OGCDs it's off the global cooldown, so you could press it at a separate time than your normal rotation, and you need to balance how many you can't just mash all the OGCDs at once to do good damage. Like, that's what I was doing, and I was really and this is like not like, well, this is like, I guess it's kind of almost secret knowledge. Like, if you read the tooltips really carefully, you'll understand it. But it's like figuring out how to do a proper rotation in Final Fantasy is not very intuitive, and so learning to be like, okay, you can only have like 2 OGCDs in between every normal cast. Generally, that's just a good rule of thumb. I didn't get that at all. I was having like 11 OGCDs in between 2 of my normal casts, which is insane.
Oh, wow.
Which I was doing as Bard, because Bard is like living that OGCD life. Just learning the like the exact timing that you can take, like, because in Final Fantasy, if you move like right before you finish casting a spell, it'll still go off. Like, that doesn't happen in World of Warcraft. It's like all of these little subtleties, and especially the global cooldown and the off global cooldown thing. I did not get that for the longest time, and I was like, why is my damage always so bad? And like, I literally only understood this like a couple, like one expansion ago. I started to understand this, and I didn't get better at it until like this expansion. So I'm sorry, my previous raid teams. So yeah, if you want to get into like savage raiding, I'm not saying you have to like be a sweaty get good. Just like know that the way that rotations work in Final Fantasy is very different from how they work in World of Warcraft, and like take the time to look up like how you're supposed to be doing it, because it is unfortunately not super intuitive, even as like a summoner in my rock brain rotation. It's like, make sure that you do this and then that, and it's the that's the thing. Like in World of Warcraft, there are no OGCDs. Like you can shrink your global cooldown, like how fast you can press the buttons, but there's no like, this one is on a different timer than the other one, and like that is an intrinsic part of doing good damage in Final Fantasy, is that there's like 2 timers for when you can press buttons. You gotta weave them. OGCD weaving. So that is my incredibly nerdy and technical answer that probably only like 10% of the listeners care about, but there it is.
Well, I mean, if you're doing raiding, especially Savage content, stuff like that, trying to, get the most deep or throughput heals or such can be important. Mm-hmm. So OGCD weaving is definitely a big deal as far as that goes.
Well, do you watch Joe Cat? The animations? Well, when he's like, press your free damage buttons, that's what OGCDs are.
Yep. Brandon, how about you?
I don't remember how long it took me before someone took me aside and explained basically the whole of how the Grand Company system works.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a very long time, and I had basically been just kind of vendoring gear that I didn't need anymore, and the absolute horror I heard in their voice when I explained that I had done this was incredible, and it's something I'll never forget. But yeah, the entire being able to turn in drops you don't need to the Grand Company quartermaster, all the stuff you can buy with Grand Company seals, even the entire way you rank up past a certain point.
Mm.
All that stuff is just like, I don't get any of this, and I had to have the whole thing explained to me and like guides given to me for it. And now I'm just like, okay, well, wish I'd known a lot more of this way earlier on, so I could have had my rank up a little bit sooner. But oh well.
Yeah,
So
figuring out the whole like squadron thing is kind of.
Yeah, the squadron thing was another part of it. That was. I don't know if I still have a particularly great handle on it. I think I completed the last mission that requires like perfect stats or whatever, kind of by accident. So, but yeah, that entire system was not something I ever really delved into before someone took the time to explain its actual benefits to me.
Some things for me. I did not know what the fashion report really was all about until several months ago, and how it gives you an insane amount of MGP, and there's really no reason you shouldn't do it every weekend if you care about MGP. Because
I'm bankrolling my chocobo.
Yeah, that sucker is 60,000 free MGP, or if you end up having a squadron and you use one of those gold saucer VIP tickets, that bonus also applies to the 60,000. So you can get 69,000 from the fashion report.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say you didn't know about it until a few months ago?
Several months ago. Since
we've started this show?
Yes.
Oh dear God, I'm so sorry. I have failed you.
Fine. I learned about it in about August or September of last year.
Do you know about the Reddit post that like does the?
Yep. Well, I have the Twitter account I follow the most is Kyoko Star. Kyoko Star is a VTuber who puts up a Twitter post every time Fashion Report is up that shows you the easiest way to get 80 points on the Fashion Report, which is all you need to get the 60,000 MGP.
I cannot believe I never told you this before then. I am so sorry.
Oh, it's fine. It's discovering stuff is one of the fun things about this game. It's like there's a whole lot of stuff going on, and you find things that you didn't realize existed. Another thing is I learned that those rating waymarks,
Yeah,
which are basically raid markers, right? Did you know that you can set waymarks in the open world as a single player? That never occurred to me. And some of you may be wondering, why would that even matter? I will tell you why. If you are a gatherer and you are going to one of those areas where there's ephemeral nodes, or where there's like 3 different nodes in the cluster and you have to fly from here to here to here, and you have a terrible memory of where those nodes are, and because if you're farming you have to go in a cycle, I put waymarks down on each node.
Oh my God, that never occurred to me.
And numbered 1, 2, and 3, and it's made my farming of the nodes so much more efficient. It's freaking crazy.
Oh my gosh.
You
can also like save waymark locations or like setups for raids, which means you don't have to like set them up every time you go in. You just be like, whoop, pop down your pre-saved set, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one I did know about, and I've seen it in action multiple times, but I had no idea you could place them as a solo player, and now I'm just thinking about the entire time I was working on the Omicron tribe quests, how goddamn useful that would have been, and now I'm sad.
Here's another one that I learned from Mr. Happy's video this week that I think is freaking huge when I plan to expand into other crafting jobs. From the Reddit thread, comes from someone named Saprisi. They said, you can synchronize your crafter hotbars by typing a command into chat or making a macro, which copies your buttons from a specific crafter onto your currently equipped class. One example is /hotbar copy CUL1 current one. So, like, if
my God.
Yeah, if you plan to do omni crafting, you can simplify you can simplify making all the hotbars that much faster by just copying one set of hotbars to another. I didn't even know that existed for that.
That one I did know about because when I had to reinstall the game after it got corrupted, I did not have any of my toolbars uploaded, which, by the way, you can save your UI and your toolbars, your settings for them, and download them whenever you reinstall the game.
We have mentioned this, yes. And this is your quarterly PSA to save that stuff.
You
Please
can also
do that. Do not be like me.
If you have a character that's set up the way you like and you're making another character who's playing the same class, you can go into the game settings folder and copy their UI layout and everything and paste it into the new characters folder, and it'll just have everything set up for you.
I did that not too long ago when the alt I have has Summoner at 80 right now, and not too long ago I did that whole copy thing to copy all of my mains Summoner stuff onto that. So
yep, there's nothing more frustrating than being I'm playing Dancer over here, but all my buttons are one to the left. I'm completely screwing this up now.
I didn't know about that one until probably a few months before we started this show, and whenever I would play multiple jobs across alts, I would just go in there and screen cap their hotbars and duplicate them.
I mean, that makes sense. Oh man!
But,
it also copies all your macros, by the way, which is super useful, especially if you're copying healers and you're doing mouse over macros. Good lord, try to redo all the mouse over macros. Drive me insane.
But yeah, there's a lot of interesting things from that video from Mr. Happy. So if you don't follow him on YouTube, you definitely should. If you put in Mr. Happy FF14, you'll find it easily. Or Mr. Happy 1227 is technically his username on YouTube. But yeah, the things people don't know in Final Fantasy XIV, check that video out. It's only about 20 minutes long, but I think you'll find at least 2 or 3 things that you probably didn't even realize were a thing in the game. Also, as a gamepad Final Fantasy XIV player, I literally just learned from this video how to set flags on maps with a mouse. It's control right click, by the way. I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know everyone else knows except for
Yep.
Yeah, Word had to tell me because I wasn't big into maps.
Also,
or hunt trains or anything like that.
If you are like me and have a whole bunch of side quest markers on your map at hubs where there's aetherites, if you have your map open and you hold control when you open up the map, the aetherite icons pop up to the front so you can easily click on them.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Is there you know what? We have a couple minutes. Megan, if you can give a 2 to 3 minute anime recommendation, I'm going to let you do it. So go.
Oh, okay. I have an
back
anime.
a little bit, guys. Hang on.
I have an anime recommendation, which is something the award watched over Valentine's Day. It's called Recovery of an MMO Junkie, and it's a romance anime about 2 people who meet in an MMO, and both of them are playing opposite gender characters when they meet. But they still fall in love. It's very cute. It's very funny. And honestly, it would be right up your this audience's alley. It's good. It's cute. The game that they play is adorable, and it reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy. And yeah, it's fun to see someone actually take into account of, especially in anime, they tend to do I'm playing an MMO. Look, I made this character that looks exactly like me, or I hit randomize and the character looks just like me. Yeah, okay. Not the thought that the avatars we choose are actually an incredibly interesting part of someone's character. But yeah. Oh, the other MMO anime I'd recommend would be GGO, which is Gun Gale Online, which is actually in the Sword Art Online universe, but is not connected to it at all, and is actually really good. Which, those 2 get my anime video game anime seal of approval.
The Megan anime seal of approval, otherwise known as the Masa. Okay. Alrighty. Well, I think that will do it for episode 31. We have as many episodes as Baskin Robbins has flavors of ice cream. Outstanding.
I love it.
Brandon, until episode 32, how can people find you on the internets?
Best place is to just go to my Twitter. Still keeping that going because it hasn't imploded on itself yet. Twitter.com/thebmatt, THEBMATT. There's links to everything I've got going on. My blog, where I've been talking a lot about D&D stuff lately. Links to my other podcast. My, I say it's mine. It's all of ours. +5 to hit. It's a live play D&D podcast, and we're recording another episode tomorrow night. And I'm looking forward to it because finally, the dragon has fallen.
Spoilers.
I don't care. I'm excited.
He is kind of excited. I'm excited too. I'm also nervous as heck because I don't know what the party is going to do next. Megan, where can people find you?
On Twitter at CatMomMegan, that's MEAGA, and there you can see a lot of my art, find links to my Tumblr, and just see so many pictures of butterscotch. That's all I do. It's just really, I've got the portrait mode on my phone, so it's like I'm painting old Renaissance paintings of butterscotch constantly.
Speaking of your art, Megan, I do have a question for you about your latest piece.
Sure.
That carbuncle is absolutely adorable. The expression on their face is just perfection. Does your carbuncle have a name?
No, he's just carbuncle.
Okay.
Like, he's just happy to be here. He has empty head, no thoughts.
Go to Megan's Twitter and you'll see the terrified summoner noises art. It sums it all up.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
As for myself, you can find me on Twitter at PodcasterRo. That's Podcaster RHO. You can find the show on Twitter at A Podcast Reborn. You can email us at apodcastreborn@gmail.com. You can also find our show at bonusroll.gg. We are a part of Bonus Roll Productions. And from there, you can also click on a link that will take you to merch for A Podcast Reborn, specifically shirts. I think it was just yesterday, technically, that the shop opened up to the public. A couple of us got shirts and stuff in advance. I know Brandon is happy wearing his cyan-colored Podcast Reborn shirt. I know Zim got a tank top. So
it's very comfy.
Indeed. So do check that out if you want a Podcast Reborn shirt, or I think there's going to be some other stuff coming up on there too soon too in the near future as well. Check that out, bonusroll.gg. Leave a review for us at that site too on their podcast directory. It is an awesome tool to help you find other podcasts for great games that you enjoy. The theme for our show is from Alex McCullough. He has a lot of great music that's inspired from Final Fantasy XIV. Do check out his YouTube channel. I will include a link to it in the show notes. And of course, this music and any other derivatives of Final Fantasy XIV music you hear on the show belong to Square Enix, and no copyright infringement is intended. That's going to do it for Megan, for Brandon, and of course for Her Royal Highness Butterscotch. This is Brian Black. Until next time, may your loot rolls be high, your glamour fantastic, and your duties always complete. Brandon.
I don't know about you guys, but since we aren't getting logged out for being AFK for prolonged periods anymore, whenever I need to walk away from my computer for a while, I like to leave my character someplace nice to come back to. And guess what? I found the best place. Idleshire.
Did you know that it's not called Idleshire? It's pronounced Idleshire.
I'm not doing that.
Idleshire.
See you, folks.